Hey guys, what's going on? It's the Chinnist. Today is May 10th, Wednesday, New Comic Book Day, and I have my haul here of 22 with 20 different titles that I picked up from 2 different LCSs. So kicking it off, we have Star Wars Screaming Citadel, and I picked up cover B just to read through. I'm going to bag and board cover A. So this is the first meeting between Luke Skywalker and Dr. Aphra. So this should be a big deal. So I'm sure Disney's going to be pushing everything Dr. Aphra at this point in time. You know, she's been a huge success. I'm sure you're going to find her in some movies, you know, going forward, or some animated TV series. I think they recently just announced that they're going to have another Star Wars animated show, and this one's going to focus in between episode number 4 and 5. Which is really what this covers here. So, you know, the likelihood of her, you know, appearing on TV is highly out there. And again, I think her first appearance was Darth Vader, number 3. So if y'all could go find that one, I suggest go pick it up. Okay, so next up we have Secret Warriors, and you know, so I'm not an Inhuman fan. As you know, I'm just getting back into the X-Men side, and you know, as I do that, I don't want to dilute it with the Inhumans by any means, or dilute that mutant experience. And you know, I've never really been a fan of the Inhumans. I always saw them as like you know, a copycat of mutants or of the X-Men when I was younger. You know, kind of collecting in the 80s and 90s. So yeah, I wasn't truly a fan. You know, I'm looking forward to any young group that kind of gets together with superpowers. So I'm going to read this one open-minded and see where this one goes. But yeah, it's all-female Inhuman team is what Secret Warriors is. Okay, so next up we have Old Man Logan. I have not been picking up this series in monthly issues, only when I come across store incentives, which this one was. So I picked up number 1 of this Past Lives, and man, I really enjoyed it. I was going to be reading Old Man Logan in trade, so you know, that's why I've been passing it on the monthly side. But man, I really enjoy the storyline so far, to where, you know, he's basically traveling through time, and he, you know, I guess he quantum leaps, so to speak, into his own body at various times. So you see, you know, all these iconic like fights and things that that we all grew up with, that he's kind of facing, you know, real time once more. So yeah, Old Man Logan. Okay, so next up we have Bug. I have not been too big of a young animal fan. I don't think, you know, I tried a lot of the different titles out there. I wasn't really a fan of any of them. But this one kind of caught my attention. This was a recommendation by one of the owners at the one of the 2 LCSs that I typically go to on Wednesdays. So this guy apparently was part of, he was like an obscure background character in the New Gods that occurred, I think it was either the late 70s or early 80s. And this guy was a background character who's like killed off like in the first issue or something of that nature. So you never really knew who he was. So they kind of revitalized that character, and you know, he kind of wakes up in present time, and he kind of starts going through some adventures like right off the bat. So it sounded, you know, it sounded pretty intriguing to me. The artwork wasn't too bad, you know, mediocre at best, maybe like a 2.5 out of 5. But the storyline got to me. He goes interdimensionally, which, you know, I always love multiple timelines and multi-dimension type stuff. So yeah, Bug. Okay, next up we have Regression. Now I've been looking forward to this one. As soon as I saw it in the previews, I subscribed to it. So this one, you know, my understanding, this is number 1. My understanding is, you know, this guy kind of goes through like regression mental therapy. And along the way, he starts seeing like all these like weird things. I think he starts daydreaming, but you find out in the solicit that there's some supernatural that's in play as well. You know, I don't know when that's going to pop up. It's just something I kind of read, but yeah, this one really intrigued me. You know, enough to go ahead and subscribe to it, you know, up front without even reading number 1. So yeah, Regression by Image. I believe this is by, yep, Image Comics. Okay, next up we have Grass Kings. This is number 3. This one really intrigued me from number 1 on. I was not really too much of a fan of watercoloring, but man, this one really looks great to my opinion. And you know, I'll get to After Death number 3 finally came out, and I'll talk about that artwork versus this watercoloring. But you know, it's really the hard lines. I enjoy the inks that went along with this watercoloring. So the storyline, you know, there's like an off-the-grid type of community that borders right next to like a, you know, full city, and a woman goes missing. So this is more of a drama, and you kind of find out, what's going on in the town, and I guess eventually you'll find out what happened to the girl who went missing. But yeah, pretty good so far. I usually stay away from a lot of the drama type stuff, but man, this one really got me. Grass Kings. All right, next up we have Rock Candy Mountain. Man, I really love this, the #1 that came out last month. I'm not really a fan of this type of artwork. I find this like a, man, like a 50s, 60s, like a Tintin, the animated series, if y'all know what Tintin is. This kind of always reminded me of that. I found it like a lazy artwork, in my opinion. But the storyline and the comedy, especially this sidekick, I'm sorry, I forgot what his name is, but some of the stuff that comes out of their mouths, I was just cracking up reading through #1. So this Rock Mountain Candy, this is like a fictitious, it's not fictitious, it's like a fantasy type of realm, or this place that this guy is looking for. And apparently only the hobos are aware of this in this hobo underground. And you see within this hobo underground, there's all types of fighting and things of that nature. So yeah, a lot of good fighting so far, and the banter and the comedy is great. So I highly recommend this one. I think this is going to second print already. So for issue #1. So yeah, Rock Candy Mountain. Next up, Cannibal. I've enjoyed this one. The artwork I feel is phenomenal. It's way up there, and along with the color palette. So this one was like another take of the zombies, to where, similar to zombies, to where these guys are, eating the flesh of other people. However, they're cognizant of what's going on. They can't really control this urge, but they're able to have like full discussions with you. So it's a little bit different take of the zombie world, which I found a little bit refreshing. But yeah, highly enjoy this one so far. Artwork again is phenomenal. 4.25 or 4.5 out of 5 in my opinion. Cannibal. I believe the trade paperback #1 came out about 3 months ago, I think. Okay, next up we have the Ciurcle. I think this is of a 6-issue series, so this is #5 of 6. This one is great. This is very similar to The Covenant, that movie that came out in the early 90s. To where you have this group of high school kids, they're all kind of like misfits in a way, don't really fit in with society or the other kids, and they get into this occult and they get magic, and they feel more superior now. So this kid, the main star, I really connected with him right away, and he was kind of duped into this little Ciurcle covenant that was already kind of pre-existing. They needed like one more. They kind of duped this kid into joining them. After they joined and they actually got powers, it went south really, really quick. Each one of them kind of picked up like a unique special power. So that's pretty cool in and of itself. And the main character, his power is he's able to like open like a portal to go into another dimension, and he can close the portal to kind of hide to where no one is aware that he's there. He's kind of like a ghostly figure, and he kind of figured out with his powers he could actually extend like tentacles from that negative dark zone. So yeah, this is getting really good, and at this point in time they're all fighting each other. So he's fighting for his life, and he basically has to kill the rest of the people in the Covenant in order to stay alive. So man, this got really good since #1. It got good quick. So the Ciurcle, highly recommend for y'all to go find this series, go pick it up. Okay, next up we have that nostalgic title out there, Future Quest. All those Hanna-Barbera characters that I grew up with, watching TV, being a little kid watching all those cartoons. So this is pretty cool how they, gave everyone backstories, beyond the cartoons, and they took that essence pretty hard to where, it is that character you knew, and they're getting to new adventures. And this one kind of crosses over everyone together. They're fighting this multi-dimensional like evil being, and that's been out there for centuries, and it's been a huge struggle between I guess the good and bad, or light and dark. So yeah, really good. You have to know who these previous characters are, to understand the storyline and to really enjoy it as much as I did. But yeah, Future Quest. If you saw these cartoons, I recommend you go pick up the trades. I think Volume 2 came out in the trade already. Next up, we have Green Valley. This is another one that I love. I love any type of interdimensional time travel. I love Knights and Lord of the Rings, and this one kind of mashes everything together, which I love. So you have this, you find out it's this future psychotic guy who gets control of time travel technology in the future. He goes back in the past. He starts wreaking havoc, and I guess you see where the explanation of where magic and dinosaurs kind of came from, and it was really this guy who brought back, you know, dinosaurs from like another age, you know, as his pets to do his bidding and things of that nature using current technology from our future. So yeah, man, great artwork on this one. I enjoyed the storyline, enjoyed the dialogue that's happened so far. You had like this band of brothers of knights who were there originally. You see them slowly dying off. So man, great storyline. Green Valley. Okay, next up we have JLA, Justice League of America. So I really enjoyed like the first four in this series. This is a new arc, or number 2 of number 3 of the Heart of a Bastage arc, and you know, number 1 through 4 got me. Number 5, I think they changed the artist on number 5, you know, for the worse, and the storyline didn't really get me on that number 4. So yeah, I may just give this one just one more arc to see if I'm going to continue to pick this up in subscription or not. You know, I've never really been a fan too much of Lobo, and this story arc is really based around Lobo, so you know, it doesn't probably bode too well for me to continue this series if they're going to base it off this story arc. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Justice League of America. Okay, next up we have The Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows. Love this series. I think, you know, this is going to be ending here at probably at number 9 or so. But man, this is really great. This is on another world, not with current Marvel 616 Earth continuity. And you see, this is like a different alternate timeline that happened here. And what I really love about this is going to be the daughter, Anna May, who has the same powers as her father, Peter Parker. And their mother, Mary Jane, actually utilizes a suit in order to pick up powers. So, you know, she doesn't have powers in this timeline or in this alternate universe here. But yeah, it's been great. The 90s X-Men is in the current timeline here in this one. So, you know, Charles Xavier, he never died. It kind of changed the timeline of this continuity to where Charles Xavier actually stopped the Civil War. So Civil War actually never happened in this continuity here. So yeah, man, it's been pretty good so far. The dialogue is great. The artwork is way up there on this one, in my opinion. So yeah, renew your vows. Next up, we have X-Men Blue. I've really enjoyed the X-Men so far. I think I enjoy X-Men Gold over X-Men Blue, to tell you the truth, so far. But I really enjoy the original members, even though this is kind of like another take on them. You know, they're a little bit different from what they had, you know, from the 60s X-Men that we grew up with. But, you know, really enjoy this one. Jean Grey being the team leader, you know, I'm not totally on board with that one. You know, I realize that when she, you know, totally unlocks all her powers, she, you know, probably the most powerful of the team. But I don't know, man. I just never really saw her as a team leader, in my opinion. You know, I always, you know, maybe just because I'm biased, you know, based on growing up with Scott as a team leader. But yeah, enjoy the storyline and the action in here so far. X-Men Blue. Okay, next up we have New Superman. Highly enjoy this one. You know, I didn't think I would enjoy this title as much as what I did. So this is a brand new story arc that we're kicking off. The last story arc actually had Superman, Kanan Kong came over to America, and you know, he had his little adventure with Superman. It was pretty cool because, you know, you see that Superman is actually going to take him under his wing, and he's going to mentor Kanan, you know, whenever the situation arises. So yeah, pretty cool to see him, you know, see them together. So he's coming back to China now, starting off this new story arc. You're able to see part of the Justice League of America. I'm sorry, Justice League of China again. It looks like they have like another Flash now, and so yeah, been pretty good so far. I really enjoy the banter between the Wonder Woman of China as well as Batman of China. I love it. The Batman of China is great, dude. He is so hilarious. So anyways, yeah, New Superman. If you haven't picked this one up, highly suggest it. Volume number 2 came out in trade. Okay, next up we have Weapon X. This is another one where I didn't anticipate really picking up, but I picked up number 1. Really enjoyed that storyline. Thought it was really, really cool. You know, this the Weapon X program, it came back alive again, and in this case, they're creating like these androids fully out of adamantium who are hunting down other mutants. So this is, you know, it totally twisted of from using mutants as weapons to destroying mutants. So pretty cool. You know, they're able to kind of put on like a skin to look like humans, and you know, people like Wolverine can't detect that they're you know, who they are. You can't detect that they're these androids out to kill them. So man, this has been really good so far. It has, you know, all the big star mutants that are out there who have interacted with Wolverine in the past. Great storyline, Weapon X. Okay, next up we have Batman TMNT Adventure. So I was able to pick up the retailer incentive on this one. I think these are going for like $10 online. So yeah, I really enjoy this one. This one really brings, you know, the Batman, the animated series, which I love. You know, kind of grew up with that. That entire essence is totally here. Almost every one of the main characters is in here from the Batman side. I don't really watch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle animated show on the Nickelodeon side. Of course, know who they are, and you know, all the essence of themselves is still there on the animated show. So yeah, this has been pretty good so far. You know, I enjoy the storyline. I think that they're going to be wrapping this one up here. I think this one, is this number 6? Yeah, so I think this is the finale here. But yeah, enjoyed it so far. And you know, if y'all love either of these, I highly suggest to pick up the trade when it comes out, probably about 2 months from now. Okay, next up, another retailer incentive I was able to pick up. So I'm going to bag and board this retailer incentive that I found. I think this was going for about $10 online as well. So yeah, Star Trek, I love, especially the new Star Trek of the new movie realm, that's universe that's come out, which this is based on. And of course I love Green Lantern as well. So this mixes the current Green Lantern Corps with the current Star Trek team, including Chekhov, who you know, he passed away in real life. Wonder what they're going to do on the next movie. But yeah, really enjoy this one. They really tied it pretty well, and they have a very dramatic, you know, exciting storyline that's going on. So if you enjoy either of these separately, highly suggest for y'all to go find this, pick it up. Okay, next up we have 80. This is number 3 of 3. It took forever for this to, you know, finish off. I can't even remember how long ago number 1 and 2 came out. It seemed like number 2 came out like 2 months after number 1, and there was like a 6-month span, it seemed like, for number 3. So yeah, great premise on this one. This is in the future where the humans found a way, I think it was imparted from aliens, I think, but they found a way to basically never die, you know, to live forever. So you have X amount of humans on the world who have been alive for hundreds and hundreds of years, and you know, this guy, the main character, is looking to rock the boat a little bit. And I think this main character was also involved on the very first sightings of, you know, when humans went to live forever. So this guy was involved. So yeah, this was like a mix of, you know, a lot of words, a lot of prose, along with watercolor artwork. And I think all the artwork was actually done by Jeff Lemire. So, you know, the difference between this and Grasslands, you know, I enjoy the watercoloring. It's the pencils and ink is what I don't really like too much on the Jeff Lemire side. So, you know, different storyline. I enjoy the storyline. I wish he wouldn't have taken so long to get this out, but yeah, I do enjoy it. Hopefully, you know, looking forward to reading number 3 here, and hopefully he finishes off the series on a good high note. Okay, next up, another nostalgic type of comic that came out. So this is Creepshow. You know, used to come out in the past, and this was actually based on the film that came out. So Creepshow was based on comics, and then they made a film about it. This comic is specifically about the film. This is like a you know, movie adaptation, so to speak. So apparently this is a reprint that, you know, it came out long ago, and it was, I heard it was going for, you know, maybe like $100 or so on the on eBay if you could get like the first printing of this. But you know, I grew up with this movie. I love this movie, you know, so much. I watched it so many times. So again, you know, I have not seen the movie in a couple years now, so I'm really looking forward to reading through this comic here, just to bring back the nostalgia that was there. And here was the one storyline that Stephen King actually played in the movie as himself. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, Creepshow. That's going to be it for this week's brand new haul. Should you like what you see here, please like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you later.